Okay, everybody, so today we're going to be talking about mental health from a Christian view. I know, excuse me here, I know that it's a little hard because mental health is kind of like a tug of war thing when it comes to Christianity. Some say that it doesn't matter, some say it matters, some say mental health is all that matters, and it's kind of it's an interesting topic, but it's definitely an important topic and something that we should definitely go over. As always, I have my notes and everything I'm going to be talking about via paper because I don't really remember things that well after doing research. So in order to help myself remember what I'm going to be talking about, I write it all down. Okay, so oftentimes we're told that we are not allowed as Christians to be in a bad mental state, or at least it's looked down upon, or others might find it a little odd if you say that you're struggling with your mental health as a Christian. I couldn't tell you why that is, and it honestly shouldn't be that way, but it is something that a lot of people actually unfortunately have to deal with. Um, it is well within our nature as human beings and how our brains work um, to be emotional, good or bad, or sensitive, good or bad. And just like anything in this world, we we can try and put our minds to I wouldn't say fix it, but better it, right? Um, so we just need Jesus to do it. We just need Jesus to help us sometimes, and that's perfectly okay. Um, so one of my favorite quotes says, "Your mind is a battlefield, but through Christ, it doesn't have to be a place of defeat." And I can't exactly remember what that's from. I'll look it up while I'm editing this, and I'll put the person here if I can. If not, sorry. But they're absolutely right. Our mind is a battlefield. We go through a lot of things. A lot of us have lots of thoughts that we process that constantly run through our mind when we're in a bad mental state. And it can feel hard. It can feel like a battlefield. It feels like we're going at war with ourselves or with maybe just the thoughts that are in our head or the things that we're thinking of. But it doesn't have to be a place where we give up. We don't have to be defeated by our mental state or how we're feeling emotionally. We can get through this and we will get through this. It doesn't have to be where it ends. You can keep going, I promise. Um, it can be hard, struggling with mental health, but even harder when you're feeling alone in it, especially if you feel isolated in it. A lot of the times, if you're feeling shame, you're feeling guilty about something, you can't let something go, you're in just a bad mental state because something's really on your mind and you just can't get it off. Sometimes it can make you feel isolated or like you're completely by yourself and that nobody will ever understand, and sometimes maybe even try to express your feelings, and it may seem like nobody is listening to you. Um, but we're not alone in any of it. Um, Loneliness can make us feel defeated, but Christ makes us feel seen and loved. Um, Although sometimes it may seem like He's not answering your prayers, but maybe He's just preparing you for something, or maybe He's not answering the prayers the way you want them to be answered, if that makes sense. So we need to remember a few things when it comes to mental health from a Christian view. Self-care isn't always selfish, it's stewardship. That was a quote. We need to talk with God about your mental health. God chooses us every time, and there's peace and freedom in knowing that it's not up to us. So, let's talk about self-care being stewardship. The best form of self-care that we can give ourselves is patience and forgiveness. Whether that's patience with you forgiveness with you need to forgive yourself, you need to be more patient with yourself, or maybe it's the forgiveness and patience of others, or a certain event of some kind that happened. We often go after ourselves and we live in shame for it. We say that we're not good enough, that it's our fault that this happened. Whatever the case may be, we often try to go after ourselves and put the blame directly on ourselves. Not saying that it's not always going to be the fault of something else. And it's good to take accountability, but it's not good to completely diminish yourself and just wallow in it and just live in shame about it for a long time. So some tips for that. You can talk with Jesus, tell him how you feel, what you're thankful for, what you're longing for, what you're anxious about, what you're mad about, what you're sad about, what you want to forgive, what you're not letting go. Just talk to him. It's like he's another person. He is another person, but it's like he's sitting face to face with you. He's listening to everything you're going to say, and he's going to help you with everything you ask help for. And you need to be present with him, talk to him. You can't just expect things from somebody if you're not going to ask them for help, right? You can't say, oh, I wanted you to fix this water bottle for me, if you didn't even tell them that the water bottle was broken in the first place, and ask if they could help you figure it out. So you need to talk about it. Talk about it with Jesus. He's there for you for that reason. Well, for a lot of reasons, but one of them being that, yes. Another one, you can breathe and pray. Stay present in the moment. Stay present in today, in the now. There's no need to project emotions onto a future day. So you don't need to project your anger from road rage today onto tomorrow, because it's just going to make the days worse over something that only happened today, that only took an hour of your time. And granted, when it comes to grief, for instance, that's something different. Yes, it's okay to grieve, and it's okay to feel sad about it for a while, and sometimes grief comes and goes. But you shouldn't go into the next day thinking that everything sucks. You should at least try to have an open mind about what's coming for you tomorrow or the day after or the next day. Our minds were given to us by God, so we should take care of them. And then a verse that you can look at is this one here. Give you a second to read it. So that verse, the church was going through something, and troubles were being caused from within. Paul's design was for the Lord's peace to always abide. We're talking about this scripture, right? Paul's desire was for the Lord's peace to always abide in the church. Okay, sorry. This prayer is for idle as well as obedient believers. The Lord of peace is always there for you. That's kind of what this is for. So that's a good verse to look back on if you ever need to. Another one that you could check out is Acts 4:31. If you want to do some digging into that, you can as well. Another useful tip that I personally use is repeating the truth. So, for instance, this can be repeating a verse, repeating a prayer, or if you have a lie in your head saying that you're not good enough, or that you're wrong because of this and this, or you're bad because of this and this, repeating a truth for that could be a counterattack to what's in your head. So, if you're telling yourself that you're not good enough, a counterattack could be you repeating, I am good enough because the Lord made me in his image. I am good enough because blah, blah, blah. Just repeating it over and over again, counterattacking the lies in your head is a good thing to repeat often to kind of remind yourself, right? Because words have power. So if you just keep repeating that to yourself, it might help out a little bit. Personally, I repeat a verse. I repeat Psalms 23, 1-4. I actually have a tattoo of it as well because it's one of my favorite verses. It helps me when I'm feeling anxious or really scared about something. Sometimes when I'm angry as well. I kind of just sit there in my head. Well, sometimes I say it out loud, but I also say it in my head a lot of the times, just repeating the verse over and over and over again. I repeat that verse specifically because it reminds me of who I am with God and and what God has promised me. He is always there for me, and that's kind of what that verse is saying, and it's a good reminder for when I'm scared that he's there with me. He's not gonna let what I'm scared of happen to me. Um, and then lastly, I would just like to talk about the just some psychology stuff. So the original meaning of psychology back when that term was created in the 16th century meant the study of the soul in Latin. I personally believe that meaning is still true. I mean, I know if you look up the meaning of psychology in Latin now, it'll come up with a different description, like the study of the mind, the study of behavior. Um, but I personally still believe, I believe that as well, but I personally still believe that the meaning from the 16th century when it was first created is still true because the mind and the soul kind of coexist with each other. They need each other to thrive, right? So that's why it's important to not only know and be educated on mental health stuff and some psychology stuff, maybe some tips and tricks for when you're anxious, when you're upset of any kind, or, just being educated on the general knowledge of mental health. But also, it's important to take care of it because if they coexist and you have a bad mental state, it might, and you're not going to take care of it. Let's say you just been wallowing in your room for months now, right? You don't take care of that mental health, it's eventually going to start deteriorating your spirituality. So they coexist with each other, right? It's important to take care of your mental health because of that. So please make sure, everybody, that if you are in a bad mental state right now, that you reach out and ask for help if you need it. Whether that's from God, family, friends, maybe it's a school staff member, um, you know, whoever you need to reach out to help for, please make sure that you reach out to help if you need it. If you unfortunately are having suicidal thoughts or tendencies, or thoughts of self-harm or tendency to self-harm, please reach out to 988 or some helplines that may help you get through what you're going through. Thanks for watching, and I will hopefully come out with more videos soon. Thank you.
We've been waiting for so long.